Hey, what's up, guys? Dre 5Ds here, coming at you again with another video. Tonight is going to be Black Lightning Season 1, Episode 7. So first off, I just want to applaud the show tonight. Another good, solid episode. I don't think it was quite as good as last week's, but I think tonight's episode definitely had a lot more surprises in it, especially at the end fight that we saw between Black Lightning, Tobias Harris, at the same time, the shootout that was going on with Lady Eve. And I can definitely say right now, I did not expect them to kill Lady Eve this soon, especially since we've only gotten sort of a handful of her. Like, we know who she is. We've only seen her maybe like I say maybe 3 or 4 episodes, but I definitely did not expect her to die this quickly. I assumed, she would probably be in the rest of the season. I guess you can expect her to maybe die maybe later on, but not this soon. Granted, at the time of this video, we only have like 6 episodes left in the season, but I thought it was still, a shock that she actually died. From what it seemed like how the fight was going, she was probably gonna, survive. But then that guy came out of the casket. It was definitely a total shock to me, and I want to give kudos to the show because I feel like most shows probably would have kept that character around longer, but they have the balls to kill a character like that off. Granted, she's not a main character and we've only seen her a few times, but she's definitely, you can tell she's a big player in the larger scheme of that world, as we've heard tonight, the shadow board. So I was definitely surprised that she died as soon as she did. The ending fight at the end with Black Lightning and Tobias, that shot, that electric bolt that he gave Tobias, it was I mean, it was so good. It was something I think me, myself, and a lot of fans have probably been waiting for a long time to see their first fight. And it was just so good to see that happen, with Jefferson getting a good shot at him. And then the other thing, I wouldn't call it too surprising, but obviously we see that Tobias' sister died. I wouldn't say at the hands of Black Lightning, but because of a gunshot of, I guess, one of the security guards that was around Tobias. And I mean, I wasn't really expecting her to die, assuming we don't really know too much about her. I mean, she wasn't really, developed that well. But I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a huge loss to the show, but I was also kind of surprised that she died as well. But with her death, I think that's going to bring on extremely high amount of motivation for Tobias to go after Black Lightning even more so than he already had before. He's probably going to get a little bit reckless now because he's definitely going to be on the hunt to take down Black Lightning because his sister was basically all he had left. As we saw in the flashbacks before, his father was very abusive, and him and his sister were obviously pretty close, and the fact that she's gone now, he really doesn't have anybody left, at least that we know of. And the fact that she's gone is definitely gonna affect him, and also gonna give him, like I said, more motivation to go after Jefferson to get revenge on what he did. One thing also I want to talk about is the shadow board that Tobias mentioned when he was talking about trying to kill Lady Eve. He mentioned that if he killed her, then he would be dead himself, I guess, because the shadow board would come after him. And I tried to do some research and looked up if the shadow board was a thing in the DC comics. I wasn't able to find anything. Maybe they are a thing in the comics. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to find anything. But the fact that we have this larger scheme, a larger group out there, this just thickens the plot even more so now. Like, now I have so many more questions, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do, and a lot of other fans do as well. Like, who is the shadow board? Like, who's a part of this group? Like, are we going to see them taken down this season, or is this going to be a lingering effect throughout the whole series, or at least the first few seasons? I mean, just that name drop by Tobias, that definitely got me thinking, like, have we seen any other members so far? It's hard to say, like, how many people are on a board. That can be numerous people we don't know yet. I think maybe we might not actually see the shadow board this season. I think that could be a setup for the next season 2. Maybe Jefferson and Anissa have to take on members of the shadow board, or it would be nice if we could see them this season, but I feel like thinking about it now, that could be a setup for next season. Maybe we'll get more hints and clues as to what the shadow board is and who's a part of it. Um, as the back half of the season progresses, the last 6 episodes. But if we don't resolve the shadow board or find out what it is this season, it's definitely that name drop was definitely probably a setup for next season if they don't tackle that issue and storyline this season. Because I definitely want to know like who's a part of that, what's going on, what are their goals, and do they extend beyond Freeland? Like, does a shadow board member like is in charge of Freeland, and are there other shadow board members that are in charge of other cities and states? There's just so many questions about this new development that I just can't wait to see how the show's going to handle it and what we're going to find out in the coming episodes and seasons to come. Another thing I definitely want to talk about is Gambi. I know last week's video I mentioned how I don't think Gambia is a bad guy. I think as we saw before that he's protecting the Pierce family. If he wanted to, he could have outed Jefferson as Black Lightning, however many years ago, but he hasn't. And I don't know. I'm still kind of holding on to that thought and idea that he's not a bad person, but man, this episode is really making me think that like what is Gambi's goal, like what is his deal with Lady Eve and I guess the other people that they're working with. Obviously Lady Eve is dead now, so what does that leave Gambi at the end? Because he was so far what we've seen, she was the only one that he was communicating with about everything that was going on. He was even talking about how Tobias is becoming a liability to them. So I mean, last week's episode, I got the idea that maybe Gambi doesn't work for them or doesn't work with them anymore. Maybe he just reached out to her because she was kind of going against their deal of protecting the Pierce family. But in this episode, it seems like Gambi is still probably doing business with maybe I guess the Shadow Board or someone that's involved with Lady Eve and Tobias, because just the fact that he was saying that Tobias is messing up stuff. So it's so many questions with Gambi. Like, what is his deal? Like, I mean, I want to say he is a good guy, but is he only a good character because he's protecting, Black Lightning, our main protagonist? Is he, underneath that, under his protection and deal of the Pierce family, is he really just a bad person or a bad guy with everything that that seems to be coming out with him in the last 2 episodes? I'm not sure. I want to believe that he is a good person. I still think that he is, but as I don't know if you guys have watched The Flash before, he could be a reverse Flash scenario. Working with the good guy, making sure that he's on the good guy's side, and making him become friends and buddy. And then at the end, to just backstab him in the end and actually become his ultimate villain and enemy. But I don't know. I feel like the writers on Black Lightning are probably better than that. They wouldn't rehash a story that's already been done on another CWDC show. But I mean, you never know. I don't know. It's just really weird, and I definitely want to know more of what's going on with Gambi. From the previews we've got at the end of the episode, it seems like we may have more information on what Gambi's doing. It seems like he may be coming clean with Black Lightning and Jefferson. Hopefully he does, because I definitely want to know like all the questions and like what is his involvement? Did he have anything to do with the experiments that happened over 30 plus years ago, or what is he doing now? Is he involved with the green light? Is he a member of the shadow board? Like, I don't know, there's so many questions that we need answered, and right now I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he is a member of the shadow board and he's just not involved as he was before, but I don't know, you never know. But I can definitely see him being a member of the shadow board at when it all comes out. So the last thing I want to talk about is Lala coming back. Like that again, that was another big surprise that this episode had. Like I mentioned before, this episode, I feel like last week's was probably better, but this one definitely had the more twists and surprises. Like I did not expect Lala out of all people to be coming back, and I really want to know like how is he even back again? Since the shadow board was mentioned, this is someone from that shadow board behind his resurrection. That could definitely be a high strong possibility too. because I'm just not exactly sure like how he will come back. The only way we've seen people come back in this quote unquote universe was not exactly confirmed that he's in the same universe, but we've so far what we've seen is the Lazarus Pit, and there hasn't really been any other way that someone's come back before. So it definitely begs the question like who brought Lala back, how did he come back, and what is his goal now for whoever brought him back. So many questions. I just can't wait for next week's episode to find out, because Lala, I've in the beginning I thought he was a pretty interesting character. I didn't expect him to die so soon as well. So it'd be nice to see him again. He's probably going to be just a one-off episode unless they decide to keep him for a couple of more episodes, but I can only really see him coming back for the first episode. But we'll have to see next week. So I just want to say thank you again for watching my video. If you like what you see, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below with your thoughts on the episode. And until then, I will see you guys next week for my next review and discussion on Black Lightning Season 1. Thank you.